From the studios of Foxboro Cable Access, located in the center of Foxborough, Massachusetts, you are watching Around Foxborough.
Hello, and welcome to Around Foxborough, the show where we talk about the people, places, and things that make Foxborough the gem of Norfolk County. My name is Mark Rivard, and I am pleased to have as my guest today, Diane Krentzman Porter, who is the new president of Foxboro Rotary Club. Welcome, Diane.
Thank you very much for having me, Mark. It's a great pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you for being on the show today. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
But if you don't mind, for those who don't know, because you go into any town in America and you see Rotary Club welcomes you. Tell us a little bit about the Rotary Club.
The Rotary Club is an international service organization that is devoted to making our world a better place, whether it is through peace initiatives, the environment, ending polio, providing assistance locally, internationally, and making sure that everyone has an opportunity to serve, as well as to make sure that people who need something have a place to turn. And the motto with Rotary is service above self. And we're here to really make sure that we provide the kind of care that people need, both locally and internationally.
Great. So how did you get involved in the Rotary?
That's a great question. So my husband and I moved to Foxborough 5 years ago. And shortly after arriving here, I ended up in a bad car accident and had a long recovery time that made working from home pretty important. And without kids in the schools and without, having a lot of opportunity to get to know other people, I asked Lori Rudd, who you may know from the community, how do I get to know other people in the community? And she said, come with me to Rotary. And I put in my application, and here I am 3 years later, president, and looking forward to the next year.
That's a great story. I'm glad you're okay from your accident, though.
Thank you.
So yeah, a lot of people don't understand the community service aspect of some of these organizations. We have so many in town. So what is the Rotary doing now? Any projects that you're working on that you want to share?
There are so many projects that we're doing. Last September, we started Peace Day, which was a big event that we had on Foxborough Common, in which we had students participate in a art contest. We had speakers. We had international booths and displays, performances, really trying to promote the idea of getting to know one another and trying to stop the violence, trying to stop all of the isms, the racism, the sexism, the anti-Semitism, and to actually get to know one another better so that people's notions of certain demographics can be dispelled. So Peace Day actually started last year with a small group organizing it. And we're very excited because on September 17th, we're doing it again. And we're looking very much forward to it. And this year, we're trying to get more of the businesses involved, trying to find very interesting international groups to either perform or have a booth. We're looking to do a little more cooperation with other organizations to try and make sure that not only are we looking at peace in our town and peace in our nation, but also peace internationally.
Well, that's incredible. I'm glad you're having it again, because that was so great last year.
Doing it again. We're doing it again. It's really important to me because not only do we have when we originally started, we had been introduced the concept of these peace poles, which you can see right outside of Town Hall. And that was introduced to us by the E-Club of Russia, of all places. And little did we know at the time that a year later, we were going to be, facing aggression, from, other countries, invading the Ukraine, and just seeing everything that's happening in the world. Everywhere you turn, you're hearing about a mass shooting, or you're hearing about bullying, or you're hearing about, international, difficulties. So where it started as something where we just like the idea of, promoting peace, which is in conjunction with the UN International Day of Peace, which is September 21st, this year in particular, it feels that it has more meaning. It has more that we need to do. And that's why we're really trying to bring that whole multicultural aspect together.
Yeah, and to start with peace, and all these things start with small communities
Hmm.
and goes outward. And to have Foxborough all together, the area all together, and and to talk about these things, that's how you start the
Hmm.
snowball rolling, so to speak. I don't
Right.
want to even talk about snow yet. I know it's 90 degrees all week this week, but that was the only analogy that came to mind.
That's okay.
but
That's
but it
okay.
works. It works.
Right.
And to have, and I always love seeing the town of Foxborough together on the Common
Hmm.
or at Founders Day, just everybody together, and it's a perfect opportunity to show people, you know,
Hmm.
what's going on in the world and how we can prevent it and how we can actually get together, come together.
I'm glad
I
you
agree.
mentioned Founders Day because that was, believe it or not, my first ever Founders Day this year.
Really? Well,
And
that makes
because
sense
it
considering,
given
right?
all considering, and we got a chance to march in the parade. We were giving out hot dogs and selling drinks, and just the overwhelming sense of community was just, it was so heartwarming and so just, it just filled your soul. And that was just something that I love about Foxborough, is the fact that people came out to support one another, the people on the parade route, and just the energy that there was in the town of Foxborough just really makes me believe that there are many people out there who may not know what we do, but when we were driving along with the convertible and promoting our Peace Day, it was wonderful the reaction that we were getting from everyone.
Yeah, people were so thrilled. I mean, your first one, you happened
Hmm.
to see one of the biggest, because we had 3 years. It was the 3 years
Right.
since the last one, so everybody was all
Right.
pent up and ready to go. But
Hmm.
it is like that every year at Founders Day. The community comes out, they have a great time. Everybody gets together. You see neighbors you don't see. I mean, especially during the pandemic, there were people you
Hmm.
haven't seen. Some people haven't seen people in a couple of years.
Right.
Either they've been staying home or whatever, and it's a great sense of community. And I'm glad that that the Rotary could take part, as well as all the other community groups in town, and just have a
And
great time.
that's one of the things that I'm hoping to accomplish, this year. We have relationships. We have an Interact Club at Foxborough High School. They just put up their first Peace Poll. We now have a relationship. We are now the sponsors of a Boy Scout group. And we're looking at developing those internal relationships. And as I challenged at the installation, I challenged all of our members to look at doing more hands-on and to think about one small act of kindness. What is it that you can do that when we sit here a year from now, that we can look back and say, I made the world a better place? And that is what we're hoping to do, is to have more hands-on. You'll see more Rotarians out there, and definitely come and park. And if you're going to go if you're going to go to a Patriots game or a concert, park in the parking lot at the former We Got Soccer, because all of the Rotary actually funds. We actually staff that at every event, and in order to be able to fund a lot of the initiatives that we do. So you'll see us out there. We may be small, but we're mighty.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because that's another important thing with community organizations. They're nonprofit, so
Correct.
somebody has to fund it. Who funds it? Well, when these groups have fundraisers or things of that effect, we need people to come and support, because
Mhm.
you can't do the things you do if you're not getting the funds.
And we're very lucky to have, a wonderful business here in Foxborough that lets us use that parking lot for our major fundraiser. But there are still going to be small things that we're going to try and do, because the more we raise, the more we can give away.
Yeah.
And one of the great things we're about to do on August 8th is to celebrate our scholarship recipients, because Foxborough Rotary actually gives out a number of scholarships each year. And we'll be meeting with all of those students who received it on August 8th at our scholarship dinner that we're going to be having over at Conrad's.
Steak tips. I think of Conrad's, I think of steak tips. No, that's great, because to give back to the community, but to also give to these young. These are future leaders. These are
Hmm.
and we hope future people that are going to be doing more community service. I mean, that's the key right there, is to get the youth involved. That's the big
Well,
key.
It's an interesting thing that you should mention it because one of the very first Interact students that was at Foxborough High School, one of the first club members, happened to reach out to me to ask if he could attend our last meeting, and has decided he is rejoining Rotary. And it's been 11 years. He just moved back to the community, and one of the first things he wanted to do was to rejoin Rotary, and that was all from that connection he made at Foxborough High School. So that says leaps and bounds about the care that we take to try and make sure that we give our good role models for our youth in the community.
Yeah, and this is how organizations like the Rotary can stay around for so long. We need to get more youth involved. That's the key, because we're not going to live forever. Somebody's got to carry the torch, right?
Correct.
And we need more people to volunteer. It's a lost art in this country. It's that there are people that step up, but we need more people to step up, even if it's just for a little bit.
No, and I'm glad you said that, because, like I said, it takes one small action. And one of the things I've also challenged, our members, is to find the fun, and that just it shouldn't feel like it's burdensome to be doing all of this volunteer work in the community and in general. And so part of what I'm trying to do is to instill a little bit of fun into things, make things a little bit lighter, and really just make it a place where people want to be, because we have wonderful members, and we have great big open arms, and we'd love to have more.
So that brings me to my next question. So how can people find out more about the Foxborough Rotary? And if they want to get involved, what do they need to do?
Well, we actually have a website, foxboroughRotary.org, and with the FOXBO, no UGH on the end of it. So foxboroughRotary.org. They can also, we meet the second and fourth Monday of every month. They can at Conrad's in Newton at 6 p.m. So if they are interested, they can reach out to me. They can go through the website, and just basically any way you want. We have open arms. We're looking for new members. We're also looking for businesses who would like to actually sponsor an employee or a group of employees who could even rotate to become members, so that we can actually involve more of our businesses in our community services. And especially with Peace Day coming up, we found that out during the first one, was that there were a lot of businesses that people may not live here in the community, but they're here in our community. And the more that we can integrate, and the more we can represent, so that we look like Foxborough as a whole, that really is a really important part of things.
Yeah, we can't do anything. We can't do it without the businesses. They are really key to a lot of things that happen in town. They're not just as sponsors, but just as partners in keeping this town great. So yeah, getting them involved is very key. Hear that,
absolutely.
Sponsors? Did you hear that? Businesses in Foxborough, talk to Diane.
Foxborough Rotary wants you. So definitely.
We'll call you Aunt Diane, not Uncle Sam, right? You're Aunt Diane. Okay.
Yes, that works.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, we really, I can't say this enough. We need more people to get involved. So if you do want to get involved and want to learn more about the Rotary, foxboroughRotary.org.
Correct.
Talk to Diane. She'll tell you everything you need to know.
Absolutely. So we there's, all it is just a desire to get involved and to do something here in the community. And like I said, all it takes is one small act of kindness to make a big difference to somebody else in this world. And if we can start there, the bigger things will come. But for right now, we just are looking to involve more people and to make this a place that everyone is feeling comfortable. And Foxborough truly is the place that people want to be.
We got to keep it the gem of Norfolk County, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Diane. I'm glad you could join us and tell us more about the Rotary and get the word out there, because, like I said, community service, we need more of it. Keep
Absolutely.
our place. Keep Foxborough great.
Absolutely. And don't forget, September 17th will be the second annual Foxborough Peace Day. And the more the merrier. And if you have a group, or if you have a, if there's a demographic that you would like to represent, please reach out to us because we're looking for, representation of all kinds.
We want to have a nice, fun day out on the common.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All
So
right.
hopefully.
Hopefully we will. Let's get the word out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, Diane.
All right. Yeah.
And that'll do it for Around Foxborough. Have yourself a great day.